Good morning, everybody. I am going to dive into the recent Activision Blizzard layoff topic here. We actually talked about this yesterday during the live stream for, I don't know, probably 45 minutes or so. Might have been less than that, somewhere in the 30 45 minute mark. But if you want to check that out, that expanded version out, you can check the stream. But I just wanted to talk about it in a more brief format here as an upload for people. First and foremost, my heart goes out to anybody who has lost their job at this time because it's been rough. Not just at Blizzard Activision, but Riot Games, Google, Twitch. Like I feel at this point, everybody I know in my personal circles has somebody who's been personally affected by this. It's like we all know somebody. It's been a rough time. The past, I would argue, past couple of years, but yeah. Recently, it just seems really tough, and my heart goes out to all those people. So this is in no way a reflection on them. This is just a discussion around this topic. I think that the industry is going to step up, and we're going to find most of these places. Most of these people are going to find new places to find jobs at. I have seen the gaming industry be pretty resilient, where a lot of smaller companies, independent companies, have stepped up and said, you know what, we are in a position where we can help out. We can give two or three people jobs here, five or six people jobs here, one or two people jobs here. It's pretty resilient like that. So everybody should be landing on their feet in good places. So best of luck to everybody, and can't wait to see what everyone is going to be working on in the years ahead. There was a great discussion on Twitter happening this morning. At the bottom of the tweet, the guy had written, there, we're not going to have any discussions about console wars or PC master race or console this, console that. None of that in the comments, please. This is just about, you know, looking at what's going on and having empathy for the people who have been let go, but also excitement for what can potentially spring out of all of this. Because if there's one constant in life, in nature, is that chaos causes things to happen. Um, there's this thought process that stagnation is what breeds, complacency breeds stagnation, essentially. So one of the things I've always loved is if you go back to the times of the Greek philosophers and etc., they sought out adversity and mindset and had debates because debates cause chaos. Debates cause things to move, and through debate, you get lots of interesting new ideas. And this is one of those times when a lot of companies, like looking at the Embracer Group as another example too, a lot of gaming companies are being bought up, the fat trimmed off, and people lose their jobs. But what then comes out of that is you get a more refined process of what came before, more fans, a better product. And on the other side, with people who end up losing their jobs because of that, they go away and work at other interesting independent studios who then start to rise up to the top and create really phenomenal content. So it's inevitable that this will happen, but I would also say that this is a good thing for everyone in the long run, although there are some short and painful times ahead for some people. And I've been through it. I don't want to make this video about me, but for those of you who have been around for a while, you know that I've been full time on YouTube for about 2 years. So before that, I was in the same churn, and so I have experience and context to feel for everybody who's a part of that. The startup industry, tech industry, marketing, just all sorts of it's crazy out there. Um, but I would say for me personally, I look at I remember I could have been 8 years ago, 10 years ago now. I don't remember exactly when it was, but I do remember when it had to have been like 2016 or 17 maybe. Um, when Microsoft bought Obsidian and In Exile, I remember sitting up and going, "Oh, I like games from both of these companies." And Microsoft came in and did some restructuring, and the products, for me personally, the products that have come out from In Exile and Obsidian over the last few years have been amazing. We've gotten some really cool boutique stuff like Pentient, and we've gotten some really fun stuff. So Avowed coming up. you can see the money that was thrown into Avowed after Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2. Microsoft came in and said, we need something to compete with Skyrim. And Obsidian said, hold my beer. So, In Exile has been doing great things as well. So, in the case of those companies, I can look at what Microsoft did for Obsidian and In Exile and say they gave them more room to run. They gave them bigger budgets, and they allowed them to streamline the things that they were really really good at, and make those exciting to generate sales there. And on the flip side of that, you can see companies like Larian who have snuck in under the radar by creating indie titles over the years. And then they come out with a game that transcends boundaries and sells, or $1 billion worth of copies, more or less. Um, and the whole industry sits up and goes, "Oh, wait a second, we might need to redefine a few things." So I would hope that Activision Blizzard will be able to carry on in the same. Hopefully, Blizzard can carry on in the same manner. Obviously, some fat is being trimmed off. You saw the cancellation of the survival game. Mike Ybarra chose to leave. Some other people chose to leave. There have been a lot of layouts. Out of 22,000 people, like 1,900. So it's a big culling. It's a big harvest. Um, but moving forward, if you read through all those statements here and read through everybody's commentary and the statements from Phil Spencer and also Matt Booty about things, there's tons of great articles out you can read on the internet. The one at The Verge is pretty good. The IGN one is really good as well. Um, so it's this situation where a lot of people lost their jobs and there is change happening at Blizzard. But I would hope, and I still have hope. Not everybody has that. But I'm not jaded, old, and a curmudgeon. Like I love gaming. I love entertainment as a whole. I've told people for years, I don't care who publishes my games or who develops my games. If it's a fun game, I will play it. I am a connoisseur of video games and TV shows and movies. I don't let politics get in the way. I don't let any of that get in the way. So for me, I just love to play games. I will always play games until they put me in the grave. And as long as they continue to produce good games, I'm going to be happy with whatever they do. Um, what got me excited about World of Warcraft, because remember, I didn't get really into World of Warcraft until as the acquisition was taking place, and BlizzCon happened and made the announcement about what the plan was for the years ahead with World of Warcraft, and I sat up and went, I'm gonna invest time in that, because they've come up with a 3-4 year plan there, and that's something that I can get behind as opposed to just 1 year stuff. That's part of this change up, so they're looking ahead and refining their products. And so for me, I still see fun stuff to do with Blizzard. Not across all their franchises, but I love World of Warcraft. I did enjoy Diablo 4. I don't play Overwatch, but I'm excited to see what comes next because there are a lot of if you look at one of the things Microsoft has done is they've sort of gone in and started to revive some of these really old franchises, and that makes me excited for the things that could come if Blizzard decides to revamp any of their older stuff into new exciting things, or if they produce some new material, some new IPs. I'd be excited for all of that. I've long said that if they chose to do a World of Warcraft, 2 at some point, I would play the hell out of that. Um, so yeah, I would also love a StarCraft MMO. Are you kidding me? If there was a StarCraft MMO, I would have no life if there was a StarCraft MMO. I would truly be like, Chris, I love you, but I'm going to become a full-time StarCraft streamer for the next 5-6 years. Like I would literally just go crazy and dedicate my entire channel to StarCraft until I retire. I'd just be like, nope, I'm good. Like I really like that franchise a lot, and I could see the potential. If they did all the things they did with World of Warcraft to that game, I would just be like, yeah, let's go. But Blizzard does make good games. Microsoft owns a lot of stuff. They throw a lot of things at the wall. Not everything sticks. Same thing with like EA. EA throws a lot of things at the wall. Not everything sticks. A lot of people are upset about, you know, a lot of people get upset about the payment structure that certain companies choose to use for the majority of their titles, but then lose the sight of the fact that that company still produces many games that don't have a monetization model that is free to play. They're actually just buy to play games. So in the greater discussion of all the types of games that are being produced out there, um, I look at what's happening right now as a great change up of saying, you've got quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. Blizzard able to produce really, really good games. You've got Baldur's Gate 3 as a great example of what can happen when somebody comes in and shakes things up. You've got Avowed coming out soon from Obsidian Entertainment, which looks like it's set to take the stage as a big Skyrim win for them, on top of already having the Elder Scrolls 6 coming down the pipeline and Bethesda in the house now. Um, and I just see between all the companies that Microsoft has been purchasing over the last 10 years or so, I'm seeing now the bigger picture of them basically producing, you know, who knows how many studios by then, but let's say they get a dozen award-winning studios that become the next generation's, Uncharted series or something of that nature. You know what I mean? Like where they can then become this big powerhouse beyond just Halo and some other franchises. Um, it's I see some exciting times for Microsoft ahead from a gaming perspective, and that has me really excited. Indiana Jones is coming up this year. Avowed's coming up this year. There's so many good games that are coming out. I'm really excited. I'm equally excited for all the PlayStation releases, everybody, and I'm equally excited for all the PC stuff. It's not about any of that. I love games across all platforms. I'm just saying right now the Microsoft team is putting in a lot of hard work and has made a lot of asset purchases over the past few years to buy up all these products. And that is something that's worthy of recognition, even as we recognize that this also is the part of the restructuring. And those folks are going on to find new opportunities elsewhere. And that's going to be an interesting thing to see play out too, because these independent companies that end up taking all these new souls on are going to have new and exciting ideas to move everybody into the future. And that's what keeps me excited as a gamer, is looking at the entire, you know, the vista ahead of all of the games that are being produced. And I get to sit here. There's a scene, I don't remember what it might be from a piece of art I've seen. It might not even be from a movie. But there is this scene where there's like a head and some hands like in the middle of like a universe, right? And there's like all the hyperspace lanes of stuff going by, multicolored, and they're all little different points of information at our fingertips, right? Because of where we are as a technological species, on our planet. And it's pretty exciting. It gets better every year, but I love the fact that we have all of this information at our fingertips, and I feel the same way about looking ahead towards the future. It's like there's all these rays of possibility when it comes to the games that are being produced around the world these days from both AAA studios and independent studios. And then other people come away from this and say, you know what, we've been working corporate for the last 10 years. We've saved up a nest egg. Let's take that and invest it. Let's build our own game. We'll be a husband wife duo. We'll be a three best friends duo. We're going to be these five guys who used to work at Blizzard, and we're going to create this new studio that brings in 30 other employees. And we're going to get funding from over here because we have a pedigree, and we're going to build a brand new studio, and that's going to produce the next cool platformer. Like, there are so many endless possibilities for everybody because of this churn, because of that chaos. So, in the midst of all of this, I would love everybody to focus on that as the most important part of this conversation. That despite as painful as this might be for some people, it is part of our ever evolving planet growth, nature, game studios, tech industries. We saw it in the 90s boom with the dot coms. Like everybody, everything has a cycle. So good things can happen.